Welcome to Healthcare Logic for Growth, the weekly show where we talk life sciences and healthcare in general, things like clinical operations, research, commercial strategy, market analytics, and what it takes for anyone in healthcare to grow in a sustainable way. I'm Eric Marr, your host, the founder of Life Science Logic and a current Life Science Association board member. So whether you're building a biotech, running a rural hospital, leading a home health agency, or shaping healthcare policy, this show is for you. Hello, everyone. Today's episode is number 6 of a 10-part series related to 2026 life sciences, products, services, policy, all things that impact the life science market going forward. The title is CMS Just Changed the GLP-1 Playbook. Very topical title, as you'll see as we go through today's episode. In almost every major healthcare policy shift, there's usually a moment when the rules change quietly, subtly, sometimes without notice. The companies that are paying attention take advantage, and the ones that aren't paying attention spend the next 2 years playing catch-up. Not all the time, but especially with things like today's topic, GLP-1s. For GLP-1 drugs, that moment happened on May 1st of this year, so very topical. So what happened in May 1st? Well, on that date, state Medicaid agencies got permission to start joining a program called the BALANCE Model, or BALANCE in short. And BALANCE is a new way to help people get GLP-1 drugs for obesity and related diseases, so very important to a very large population in the U.S. And just a few weeks from now, on July 1st, 2026, another big change happens. People with Medicare Part D will be able to get GLP-1s for $50 a month through a process called the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. And in January 2027, the full balance model will roll out nationwide for Medicare Part D. Now, you may want to look beyond Novo and Lilly, because those are the ones we're probably most familiar with, given the GLPs that they provide. Most of the conversation regarding GLP-1 so far is focused on those guys, right? The two biggies in that space, Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. They were the first to sign up with CMS. That makes sense since, like I said, they're two of the biggest GLP-1 providers. But the focus misses something important if that's all you focus on. Balance is not just a deal between CMS and two drug companies. It's a structural shift related to how GLP-1 drugs move through the American healthcare system. And that shift creates new risks, of course, but also very new opportunities that are very popular and are going to be very important for many other kinds of companies, including small pharma companies, early-stage biotech, digital health companies, home health agencies, hospitals, associations for doctors and providers who are about to see their patient list change, by the way. And when you think of GLP-1s, these are not some of the areas you're probably thinking about. So we're going to dig deeper into that through the core of today's discussion. But if you do work for any of these organizations and haven't yet thought about what balance means for your business, today is a good day to start that. So let me explain exactly what balance is and why timing matters if you want to take advantage of a unique and rarely available opportunity. Let's go through the basics of balance because the details will matter for your business strategy. Balance stands for Better Approaches to Lifestyle and Nutrition for Comprehensive Health. It's a voluntary program run by the CMS Innovation Center. That means drug companies, state Medicaid agencies, and Medicare plans can choose to join, but they don't have to. Here's how it works. CMS negotiates directly with the GLP-1 manufacturers for lower prices and clear coverage rules. In exchange, those drugs receive guaranteed access to patients on government plans. And you might imagine you got to sign up for this with the government. And who's signed up so far? Well, the two guys we've talked about, Eli Lilly For tirzepatide, the drug in Mounjaro and Zepbound, and Novo Nordisk for semaglutide, the drug in Ozempic and Wegovy. CMS has said it will keep negotiating with other drug companies as new products come to market. So this is not a two-company program. It is absolutely designed to grow. Very good insights and very important go-forward strategies for those that recognize the opportunities that's going to be there. Again, 3 key dates to remember. May 1st, 2026, Medicaid agencies can start joining Balance. It's a rolling enrollment, right? July 1st, 2026, the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge launches. Medicare Part D patients pay $50 a month for certain GLP-1s with no deductible. January 2027, the full balance model rolls out and Medicare Part D. Here's a note to consider. According to a KFF analysis on May 11th, the broader Medicare launch has been delayed to allow more time for implementation. So, the July Bridge program will be the main way Medicare patients get access through at least the end of this year, 2026. We'll have more about that as we proceed. So, a common question has got to be who qualifies for balance? Well, to get a GLP-1 under balance, a patient must have a doctor confirm at least one of these conditions: type 2 diabetes, obstructive sleep apnea, metabolic liver disease with moderate to advanced fibrosis, or a BMI of 35 or higher plus active lifestyle changes, plus at least one other health problem. These are not rare conditions. We're talking about tens of millions of people across Medicare and Medicaid who would likely qualify. How big is the demand? Well, in 2024 alone, Medicare saw 21.8 million claims for GLP-1s, over $27 billion in gross spending on these drugs. And that was before obesity was officially covered. Balance now opens the door for obesity treatment specifically. This is not a hypothetical market. These patients already exist. They already have these diseases. They've just been priced out or blocked from getting these drugs until now. Here's a myth we keep hearing from small companies. This is a big pharma story. It doesn't affect us. Well, that is not correct. And believing it is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make right now. It's not true. Here's why. Balance doesn't just change who can afford GLP-1s. It changes the entire ecosystem around GLP-1 treatment, including, here's the biggies, how care is delivered, what support services are needed and in most cases required, the digital tools and data systems involved, how doctors work, how patients stay engaged. And here's the key. Almost none of that ecosystem is owned by Novo or Lilly. That means there are real opportunities, possibly for companies like yours. If I'm you, I ask the question, what does the balance model really need besides the drug? At its core, balance is a new model for weight management, right? It's kind of obvious. But under this model, every patient who gets a GLP-1 drug like Wegovy or Zepbound must also get a free lifestyle support program. That program must be based on solid science, things like nutrition advice, help changing habits, and tracking progress so we know how we're doing. Are we hitting our goals? Is it helping patients? And here's the key. The drug company must pay for it. Yeah, you heard me right. The drug company must pay for it. So what is required? Number one, lifestyle partners for drug companies. Companies like Lilly and Novo can't run nutrition coaching or behavior support on their own, at least not now. They need partners. They need companies that already know how to deliver these services to thousands or millions of people at once. Think of apps that offer meal plans. Think of text-based coaching. Think of video check-ins, all that kind of thing. All right? Number two, what else is required? Help for people who can't get to a clinic. Not everyone can drive to a hospital or weight loss clinic. Some people live in rural areas. Some have mobility issues. Some work multiple jobs. So drug companies will also need home health partners, nurses, health coaches, or social workers who can visit patients at home or meet with them virtually. Number 3, data systems to track what's working. CMS, I know you all know what it is, but it's the government program that runs Medicare and Medicaid, will want to prove that patients are using the lifestyle program. That means drug companies need data systems to track things like, did the patient log in to the coaching app? Did they attend their check-in? Are they making progress? And a variety of other questions that you can imagine need to be asked and answered to make sure that this program is working. These systems must be accurate, secure, and easy to report from. I think you're starting to see where the opportunities lie, right? Number 4, care navigators to connect the dots. A care navigator is someone who helps patients figure out where to start. For example, you've been prescribed the drug. Here's your free coaching app. Here's who to call if you have questions. Here's how we'll check in on you. Those are care navigators. Without navigators, patients get confused, and the reality is they drop off the program, right? So this is not a big pharma story. Yes, the drugs come from big companies, but the real opportunity here is for digital health companies, apps, online coaching, remote monitoring, home health agencies, nurses and coaches who go to see patients, care navigation platforms, services that guide patients step by step, health tech companies, data tools, reporting dashboards, analytics. The companies that figure this out early will be the ones that will win when balance expands to more patients. It's a no-brainer. If you can handle it, there's a lot of opportunity here. I think it's pretty straightforward. And for smaller drug companies, small pharma and biotech, if you're working on a new drug for obesity, diabetes, heart disease, or anything related, don't ignore balance. Here's why. Pricing pressure. Balance will likely push down the prices of older GLP-1 drugs. That changes what you can charge for your new drug. Coverage rules. Balance sets a new standard for what insurance can cover. You'll need to design your own support programs to match. Patient pool. Balance will identify and enroll thousands of patients. Those patients might be candidates for your drug later, if you're ready. So, if you treat balance as someone else's problem, you're going to be 2 years behind, if not more. And there's going to be changes. Clearly, right? As we get more input from patients, from all the participants, from all the advocates, you're going to keep getting pushed behind. And in this industry, 2 years is everything. So let's talk about a possible scenario to give it kind of a real world feel. And by the way, this is a scenario that we are having right now. We are capturing conversations repeatedly about the same things right now. And let me share one example. A digital health company reaches out. They've built a virtual lifestyle coaching platform that has been deployed in employer-sponsored health plans for the past 3 years. Strong engagement data, documented outcomes in weight management and metabolic health, and a clean technology stack. Their primary business model has been B2B, selling to self-insured employers. They've been watching the GLP-1 market accelerate, and they're kind of, wondering if there's a fit, and if there's a fit for them, right? Obviously. The question they raise with us, does balance create a real opportunity for a company like ours, or are we too small to be relevant to CMS and the manufacturers? The answer is, balance creates a direct and specific opportunity, but only if you position correctly and move in the right time frame. Here's the strategy. Under the model, manufacturers are required to provide lifestyle support to every patient receiving GLP-1, therapy for weight management, and the other things, right? We've talked about. Lilly and Novo cannot build that infrastructure at the scale balance envisions. They need vetted, Outcome Documented Digital Health Partners. A company with 3 years of real-world engagement data and a Medicaid-adjacent population is not too small. It is exactly the profile that a manufacturer partnership team is looking for right now. So the move is to proactively reach out to the manufacturer partnership and market access teams as well, I guess, at both Lilly and Novo this quarter. Lead with your outcomes data and position your platform as the lifestyle support infrastructure for their balance rollout. That's a partnership conversation, not a procurement conversation. It is a strategic conversation, and it needs to happen before the model is fully operationalized, not after. The companies that are in the room when the manufacturer decides how to build out its lifestyle support network will be the companies in the model. The ones they've been engaging with, talking to, having discussions, just chatting. The ones that wait to see how it plays out will be watching from the outside. So I always like to talk about the resources that we suggest you keep around, that have on your desk, or on your desk, in your laptop or on your phone. You've heard me talk about KFF since we started this podcast. The Kaiser Family Foundation published an updated analysis on May 11th titled, What to Know About the Balance Model for GLP-1s in Medicare and Medicaid and the Medicare GLP-1 Bridge. In my opinion, it may be the most accurate and current independent analysis of how the model works, who qualifies, and what the timeline looks like, and what the Medicare Part D delay means for implementation. It is the starting point for any strategic assessment of how balance affects your business. We'll also have the resource listed in the show notes, as we always do, so make sure and check the show notes. It's a nice reference point for you. Another reference, the CMS Innovation Center maintains the official balance model page at cms.gov, including the manufacturer request for applications, the RAP, the implementation timeline, and the eligibility criteria. If your company has a product that is or could be negotiated into the model, that request for application, the RFA, is the document that defines what CMS is looking for in a manufacturer partner. Make sure to read it. Again, that's in the show notes, the RFA. And AJMC, the American Journal of Managed Care, published a sharp analysis on May 22nd covering the most favored nation drug pricing framework and how it interacts with balance, specifically for companies whose Medicaid net pricing currently exceeds the MFN benchmarks. If you are a pharma or biotech company with Medicaid exposure and you have not yet modeled the pricing implications of MFN logic applied to your products, that piece is the context setter you need. So again, in our show notes, make sure and check that out. So let's summarize a little bit about what we've talked about. 3 things to hold on to, right, before we go forward strategies. Takeaway 1. Balance is live and the clock is running. Medicaid enrollment started May 1st. The Medicare Bridge goes live July 1st. These are not future events to monitor. They're current market conditions to respond to. These are not future events. They're current market conditions to respond to. Every week you spend treating balance as a background news is a week your competitors who understand it are gaining ground. Takeaway 2. The biggest commercial opportunity in balance for small companies is not in the drug. It is in the ecosystem around the drug. Lifestyle support programs, digital health platforms, care navigation infrastructure, provider tools, and data systems are all required components of how balance works in practice. That is where the partnership and commercial opportunity lives for companies that are not Novo or Lilly. All right? Takeaway 3. For small pharma and biotech with pipeline assets in metabolic disease, obesity-adjacent indications, or next-generation GLP-1 mechanisms, balance is a market formation event that is reshaping your competitive landscape and your go-to-market timing right now. the pricing pressure it creates on first-generation drugs, the coverage architecture it establishes, and the patient population it identifies are all inputs to your strategy that you cannot afford to ignore. Well, I know you get tired of this if you've been listening to our podcast since we started about a month ago, and that's the GFS. We don't just want to tell you information and hope you move on it. We actually want to be part of taking action. So the GFS obviously is a go-forward strategy, and it's worth considering. It's our suggestion, but only if it's a fit for your company and your team. But in this case, here's 5 specific actions calculated based on where your company sits in the healthcare ecosystem, right? So number 1, map your product or service to the Balance ecosystem right now. Pull up the CMS BALANCE Model page and read the eligibility criteria, the lifestyle support requirements, and the manufacturer RFA. Then answer this question honestly. Where does my company fit in the care model that Balance creates? If you make a drug, are you eligible for manufacturer negotiations? If you run a digital health platform, could you be a lifestyle support partner? If you serve home health patients with diabetes or obesity, is your patient population about to change? If you cannot answer that question clearly, the answer is the work of the week, not next quarter. Okay? Number 2, for digital health teams and care navigation companies, contact manufacturer partnership teams this quarter, right? Contact these guys. Reach out to them. Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk both need vetted lifestyle support and digital health partners to operationalize the patient support requirements built into Balance. They are not going to build their infrastructure internally, at least not now. If your platform has documented outcomes in weight management, metabolic health, adherence, or chronic disease management, you have a relevant commercial conversation to bring to a manufacturer partnership or market access team. The window to be a founding partner in that infrastructure is now. It closes as the model operationalizes and partner slots fill. This is a proactive outreach play, not a respond to RFP play. I cannot express enough how nice it might be for you to be recognized as a founding partner in some of the things that we're talking about with Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, or as others evolve into this ecosystem. Could be really nice for you. Number 3, for small pharma and biotech and metabolic disease, model the competitive implications of Balance on your launch strategy. If you have a pipeline asset in obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular metabolic disease, sleep apnea, or any GLP-1 adjacent indication, Balance is reshaping the market you are launching into. First-generation GLP-1s are being priced down through federal negotiation. The coverage architecture is being standardized around a small set of approved products. Next-generation oral formulations and combination therapies are entering the pipeline from multiple directions. IQVIA counted over 193 obesity assets in development as of late 2025. In under a year, IQVIA counted 193 obesity assets in development. I mean, that's amazing. Your launch model needs to account for this competitive landscape explicitly. Where is your differentiation? What is your formulary strategy under Balance pricing pressure? What payer conversation are you having before you need it? Number 4, for hospitals and home health agencies, assess your GLP-1 patient pipeline and the care management implications. When tens of millions of previously uninsured or underinsured patients gain affordable access, to GLP-1 therapy, clinical and operational patterns will shift. Medication-induced weight loss generates follow-on care needs, nutritional support, muscle mass monitoring, medication management, comorbidity reassessment, to name just a few. Home health agencies with strong chronic disease management programs are well positioned to be the post-initiation care home for GLP-1 patients who need ongoing support. Hospitals with metabolic health programs should be evaluating whether and how to position those programs within the balanced patient referral flow. The patients are coming. The question is whether or not your care infrastructure is ready to serve them. Number 5, watch the next round of CMS BALANCE negotiations and make your voice heard if it matters to you. CMS has stated explicitly that it expects to negotiate with additional manufacturers on a rolling basis as new products enter the market and as prices evolve. For any small pharma company with a qualifying asset in the obesity or metabolic space, that means the door to balance participation is not closed. It is open on a rolling timeline. Monitor the CMS Innovation Center announcements. If a negotiation window opens for your product class, be ready to move and act. And if your company or association has a policy perspective on how balance should be structured, including on formulary access, lifestyle support requirements, or patient eligibility criteria, the comment and engagement process through CMS are the mechanism. Participate in them. The companies that show up to those conversations shape the model. The ones that don't get shaped by it. So that is your go-forward strategy for this week. The GLP-1 market is not a specialty pharma story anymore. It is a healthcare system story, one that touches drug development, care delivery, digital health infrastructure, payer strategy, and patient access simultaneously. Balance is the policy architecture that makes the next phase of that story possible. And for small healthcare companies, hospitals, home health, clinics that understand what it actually means, I think it's safe to say that this is one of the most significant commercial opportunities to open in healthcare in years. I haven't seen something like this in a long time. I hope today's episode provides valuable insight, information, and possibilities to you and your team. It's an extremely timely opportunity, and commercialization is key. Good luck. Thanks for spending time with me today on Healthcare Logic for Growth. If this episode brought you value, share it with someone in your network who's navigating their own commercial journey. I think they'll appreciate it. And if you have a healthcare-related topic you want me to tackle, leave me a note at eric@lifesciencelogic.com. Thanks again. I hope you'll join me on the next episode.